Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be painting some watercolor tulips. I'm going to break down each step for you so that you can recreate these tulips on your own. I'm using the Canson XL Watercolor Paper. This is usually what I will go to when I want to practice or play around or make tutorials. It's a great quality and it's not too expensive. I will admit that I do have a pretty extensive brush collection, so I love to use my Princeton brushes. They are professional quality. They are a little bit more on the expensive side. And I am going to use this dagger brush today. It's a 3/8 size dagger brush by Princeton, and it is amazing for tulip leaves. So I'm definitely going to show you how to use this brush, but you don't need it for this tutorial. I recently started using this set of 5 watercolor round brushes by Grabby. They are synthetic and they are really good. I really like them, so I'm going to use them in this tutorial. We're going to definitely use a size 8. You can use whatever size 8 round that you have. We're probably not going to need the 10, and we're definitely going to need a 2. That's going to be for more of the fine lines and details. This Princeton Heritage size 2 brush is one of my most used, most loved brushes. And then I think we might need a size 6 for this. You only really need a medium to large size, like a 6 or an 8, and a small, like a 2 for the fine line and details. And if you have the dagger brush, that would be great too, but you don't need it because you can make the same shapes with a round brush. I'm going to be using my Mungyo palette. I got this on Amazon and it is amazing quality. It has so many beautiful colors in it, and it is a pan palette set, so we're going to use that today. And let's go into looking at a reference. So looking at this tulip, I can see that it has 3 petals on the outside and 6 on the inside. And the petals on the outside overlap the ones on the inside, and then inside they have all the pollinating bits that we're going to go into a little later. Usually a tulip will start out closed, and then as the petals open, you can see how they overlap that center area, and then some of them open up fully. And then another important thing to notice is that the stem is sort of encased in these long leaves. It's almost like a little cocoon. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wet my brush, and this is the size 8 round Grabby brush, and then I'm going to just go into this pink color here. You can use any color that you want. I'm just thinking Valentine's Day, so it's pink. So I'm playing with pink, and if you want, you can spray your palette, and then as the water sits on there for a couple minutes, it gets a lot easier to work with the watercolor. That is a good trick, and I use the botanical mister. I'm going to start with a loaded brush, and we're just going to start making these sort of shapes here just to get used to the tulip. So we're going to do press down and up. Starts go the opposite way, so you're going to press like this and then up, and that's going to give you this beautiful shape. Try to add a little bit more water. Press down, and then if you want, you can blot your brush and pick up that pigment. Okay, and you can see how this is white here. See how this is sort of white and this is darker. You can add some lines while it's still wet here and just build it up. So let's just practice that motion. Center of the petal, center of the petal. Like this. I'm going to show you from the side what this looks like. Brush, pressing down, putting that pressure down so the belly of the brush is opening, and then you're dragging ever so slightly and then pulling right back up, and then you can pick that up. You can make this thicker by doing the same motion and going on to the bottom. And you could add some color back in while it's still wet. Now I want to practice on the petals that go outward from the center, that go out like this. So let's try to paint those. Like that. And then try it the other way, like that. Sure. I'm going to go like that. And then like that. And just keep practicing that movement. Okay, and now we're gonna try to piece it together. We're gonna try to put these all together, right? These are on the outside. So you're gonna go 1, 2. That's going to give you the inside of the tulip, and you can fix it. If you want it to be like perfect, you can shape it. I'm going to pick up some color, and then I'm going to use a little bit more paint. I'm going to go around this way, and we're going to hug. So hug. See how this is hugging? And around this way. And hug it. And it's okay if it overlaps. Just do this. And then it appears that it's over the center. And then you're going to see these little leaves popping out. Right? You see how these are in the back, they're showing? So you're just going to paint them in like that. Just going to do these 2 little dots. You can even go over if you want, like that, and put some in the back. Because remember, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that could be popping out in the back like that. Okay. And then let's practice that. Just practice it again. Maybe you want it to be a little skinnier. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't need to be overthought. Maybe it's opening up a little more. Maybe it's opening up a little bit more, like this. So you want to have the center like this. I'm going to drop it in. It's opening up a little bit more. And then you see these in the back, popping out in the back. Okay. And now you can go back in when these are dry. You can add in some lines. See, they have this line down the center. And then maybe you want to go in with like a size 6. And we're just going to use the tip of that brush to create some lines down the center, like so. And then there's 2 lines right next to each other. You can add lines to each of these side petals. And these very faint lines go out like this, so we're going to do those. So you can just faintly do that. As you can tell, it's like a very light wash of water and a tiny bit of pink to create these faint lines. I'm just going to keep doing this throughout each of the flowers and just sort of get used to doing these movements. And this one kind of looks a little blobbish. So what we're going to do is we're going to make these look like they're overlapping. So we're just going to add more color. Add more color. Add a line. And then down the center. And a line. Like that. I'm just going to go back to my reference and take a look at these leaves. They are long and skinny with a point at the tip, and they are encasing the stem. That stem is like a light yellowy green. So we're going to use our size 6 brush, and we're going to just go into our green, maybe add a little bit of yellow, and start to create that stem. Like this to start. To mix that up. Now what happens here is that these tulips, it's very light. So we're going to use a bit of water. And maybe even a little bit of yellow in there to lighten it up. Okay. And what you do is you're just gonna just attach that stem here, pull down to create this beautiful stem. And then remember, this is wrapping around the stem, but maybe a little darker. And we're gonna use that tip of that brush again, just like that. And go down and wrap it around there. And you see how it's like goes back into there, and then another one will wrap around. So you can go behind, or you can just go in like this into the back like that, and then this one will be in front. And while it's still wet, you can always just add in some deepness here to show that it's going to be in the front. See how that sort of brought this petal to the front? And just play with that while it's still wet. And mix that in there. And then it finishes. So let's say there's another one. So this one has one going down, and then there's a big one in the back. And then this one folds over. This one folds over. So if you want to do something that folds over like that, start like this. This is going to be the hand motion. We're going to start from the bottom like this. You're going to pull up like this. You're going to leave that, and then this is going to go down like that to a point. And then you can kind of see how this shape here creates that pattern. So this shape is going to help you. The line here. So this is going to go like that. And then that's going to be the back. And then yes, there's little lines in all of these, so you can do it while it's still wet and then go back in later. But yeah, just this motion. So going down, press down on that brush and drag it down. And you can always go back in like this. Now these they go all over, so you can make the point tippy, add some more color. Now practice going the opposite way. So let's just say you want to go like this. And don't worry right now about it looking perfect. So you want to go like from the back behind, or you want this to be in front, like so. And this one's in the front, that one's in front, maybe there's one in the back. They're all wrapped, so just keep practicing. This motion, this motion, this motion. Maybe you want to go like this motion. So you're going to press down and pull. Press down, lift, and pull. Press, lift, and pull. I did tell you I was going to show you how to use this dagger brush. So this is going to be a lot of fun actually. So what you're going to do is you're going to brush with water, and you're going to use that point of that dagger, right? And you're just going to press down, do whatever shape you want, and then lift back up, and you get that nice point. So we'll do it again. You're going to press and lift, press down and lift. You could use this to do those beautiful lines in the petals. Gorgeous. Tip. So I'm going to show you from above. Using that tip, pressing down, dragging as long as you want, lifting. If you want to get those leaves that are turned over, you sort of have to twist the brush in your hand. See how I twisted it and then it turned it over? I'm just using the tip. It's a beautiful way to create very loose, flowing, gorgeous, gorgeous leaves like this. But yeah, just practice, and now we're going to put it all together. So again, we're going to look at our tulip. That middle section is being overlapped by the two outermost petals. This one's a little bit closed. We have all this space to play around, so don't worry. Just do what you feel like doing. You can follow along or do exactly what I'm doing. It really depends. So I'm doing a lighter center here, and then I'm just going to blot my brush and pick that back up. And you can leave it and let the bleeds be, but I just want to have a little bit more control. And then I'm adding a little bit more pigment to my brush, and then I'm going to overlap the center. So use those outside petals that we practiced, and we're just going to overlap that center. See, it's slightly overlapping and then meeting back at the bottom. And then we're going to just darken the edges so that it looks like it is in front. And we're going to go back into the flower and put the back petals in, so they're kind of peeking out in the back. You just do one there, another right here. See that one in the back? And you can go on top like that. It doesn't need to be perfect. And while it's still wet, this one's a little bit too wet, but it's going to dry and then you're going to be able to go back in. So it is bleeding a little bit more than I want. So I'm just going to lift that up and just blend it out. And then once it's dry again, I will go back in and touch it up. Now I just want to do one that is a little bit more closed, like the one that we did in the center on top. So we're going to just do the center part like this, just like we practiced. Going up. Whatever's comfortable for you. You don't have to do that upward motion. You can do two that meet together and start at the top. Then we're just going to use two petals on the side and hug that center. Now this one's really tight, so this petal's a little bit out further, like it's almost going to open up a little bit, and the other one on the side is tighter. And we're just going to keep playing. So this one, I think we'll do one that's even more open. So we'll do that center petal, same way we did it. And now the petals are going to go out further. So it's going to be like really opening, almost to the point where you might be able to see the inside. But we won't do that here. Then you're just going to add those petals in the background. This is like more like a triangle shape, but my brain wasn't working. So try to do the same shape in the background you can see on the tulip that's open. And they're just kind of peeking out in the back. And this is okay to start out very light. You can always go back in and add your shadows and all different washes. So yeah, we got, counting the petals, it's 6 petals. So it's open, and if you were to look from the top, you would be able to see the inside. Now, like I said, I'm going to go back in while this is dry and shape those petals out. I've said this before, but water control is probably one of the most difficult things about learning watercolor. Now I want to do one that is sort of facing us so that you can see inside, almost like this. So I'm literally just going to copy what I see. This is just for fun. You don't have to do this part, but I'm going to just do the insides like this in these triangle shapes, and they sort of overlap each other slightly. And this is a looser style, so I'm not doing perfection. Then there's that outside petal there, another outside petal, and then I think this one would wrap around over here, sort of like little triangles. And then I'm just going to let this dry. So I'm just counting to see if I have 6 petals. And again, if I didn't, that's fine. We're sort of just learning how to paint the flower, and it gives you that look of a tulip. So now we're going to clean that brush off, and let's go into the stems. So I'm going to go back in with that size 6 brush, and I'm going to go in with the same green that we used, and we're just going to paint some stems just like we did in the practice. So you can do these small little strokes to get this shape of the stem so it's very straight on both sides. And again, if you have too much, you can try to suck it up with that brush. And I'm going to put the stems in first, and then I will go in and create my petals. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do this. You can do the first one, finish it, and then move on to the second one. I think I just prefer that the stems are more drier so that they don't bleed in with the leaves. Well, this one has a leaf that goes like that, and it goes up above this. It goes up higher than the plant. So let's do that. So we did this. Go down, swoop in front, and then sort of just stop right there. And then see how this is a little bit jagged? So we want this to meet like this, okay? And you can blend that while it's still wet. Ideally, we want to cover the stem here. Gives you that look of it overlapping. Because we went a little too low. We could bring this down like this, and then do another one in front like this, and then use your larger round, or even if you have an even larger round, then you can do another one almost like this. And this one's coming in like that, okay? It's coming in like that. This one will be simple. It'll have just some coming from the back. And then, so it's kind of behind, and then this one's gonna go in front. And then this one's gonna be also in front. So we'll have bottom of the stem like that, and then add in a little bit more color. And we're just gonna go like this, like that. And it's sort of hugging, they're all hugging that stem, and then that stem is going to be at the bottom. Now let's say you want to play with this brush here. We can do that. So we can, see how you notice how this tip is going to create that swoop. So let's say we want it to really hug right here. Just gonna press down, pull up like this, and there you have that. It's beautiful. You can play with that. You can do one like this. Gonna have to get used to this brush. You can use the tip to actually create the stem also, but you can use this brush so many different ways. See how this would go, there would be some back there. So maybe you wanna just neaten that up a little. Then we go back to this one, let those dry, and then we'll go back to this one, adding a lot more water. And we're gonna go back in, and you see how it's like, so there is, you can see there is like a piston, and then these little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We just want to put like a light coat of pink, like a wash, just to give it a look of like it's finished. Okay. Then we're gonna come out from the back. So let's say it's folding in like this. So you're gonna see that stem coming out like this. Like it's like swooping. And I just made that a little thicker than it is, but, and then I'm gonna go in with this brush because I love it. And I'm gonna just bring this sort of like this. And then sort of like this. I guess you could say there's a learning curve here. And then, you know, just be a little bit loose with your brush. I'm gonna try to go from the opposite side. See how I'm like twisting it with my fingers. And it's so nice, but it missed this side here. So I'm just gonna fill it in with the tip of the brush. Does not need to be perfect. And then yes, you could use the tip of this use the tip of this, very tip of this, and it will give you these beautiful lines. Or you can use either this or a size 2 brush, either one. And you can go in with a bit of darker green to pull those lines. And now we're gonna add in some of these into this. Just gonna mix in a little bit of the like greenish, and I'm gonna do just like this little sort of cross here, and that's gonna act as the piston. I mean, it's white, it's whitish yellowish, but I'm just gonna use like a greenish for this, just so you can see it better. Just do like a cross, and then I'm gonna use like a darker, like a brown burnt umber, and I'm literally just gonna create these little pieces here. And it looks almost like it's coming out. And then I'm going back in with this pink color with a lot less water. And I'm gonna start putting in some lines into my tulip. I'll do it on this. This one's got, and this one's got. This you can kind of see it here and here. This is gonna be in the front. And these lines are gonna go this way and this way. These are gonna go like this, ever so lightly. Same here. So this is going in. And you can definitely sit here and take your time. I'm working in a little bit more of a looser for your approach. This we're gonna have a little bit more dimension here, just to show like that's where the leaves are. This it's opening up, so you can see that it's opening up and out. This is folded over, this is opening up, and those lines. And then I'm gonna add some in here, and here. Green, and you can leave it how it is. You don't need to put these lines. You can if you want. I'm just gonna put a few lines in here just to, I'm gonna show that this is in front. See how it like makes it come in front? Same with this. These bleeds meet here, but it brings it to the front. This is gonna be in front. And then I'm just gonna put some light stroking motions. It's like dry brushing. Like this. That's gonna make it look like this is the back of the petal. Making this line follow around like that. And then it comes up forward. Okay, I'm gonna just stop there, and I'm gonna call this piece finished. You can keep going if you like, and if you've gotten this far, I just want to thank you for watching. I hope that you learned something new and that you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else that you'd like to see, and I will see you next time.